Well, the issue of terror and radical Islam also leading to new controversy on the campaign trail, when Ben Carson today appeared to agree with one of Donald Trump's more controversial comments, that crowds of American Muslims in New Jersey celebrated as they watched the terror attacks across the river on September 11th, 2001. Watch.
Dr. Carson, were American Muslims in New Jersey cheering on 9/11 when the towers fell? Did you hear about that or see that?
Yes.
Yes. Can you expand on that?
Well, you know, there are going to be people who respond inappropriately to virtually everything. I think that was an inappropriate response.
Did you see that happening, though, on 9/11?
I saw the film of it, yes.
In New Jersey?
Yes.
Joining me now, Republican presidential candidate and retired neurosurgeon, Dr. Ben Carson. Doctor, good to see you tonight. And so do you want to walk that back then publicly?
Well, what we were talking about is the reaction of Muslims after the 9/11 attack, and if they were in a celebratory mood. And, you know, I was really focusing on that it was an inappropriate thing to do, no matter where they were. They asked me, did I see the film? I did see the film. I don't know where they were, but I did see a film of Muslims celebrating.
But it's important whether they were American Muslims. It was important whether these are American Muslims in New Jersey versus, you know, folks over in Iran or the Middle East. That's a much different story. So do you admit to a lack of caution in answering that question?
Yeah. I mean, I thought we were just talking about the fact that Muslims were inappropriately celebrating. I didn't know that they had an agenda behind the question.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they were trying to see whether you agree with something Donald Trump has said very publicly, and he's been, you know, he's been fact-checked on it by the Washington Post, which says no. So do you believe his claim?
I had not heard about his comments.
Do you believe his claim then? Or do you mean to provide him with backup on his claim that he saw thousands of Americans in New Jersey celebrating the fall of the Twin Towers on 9/11?
No, it had nothing to do with him or his claims. It really was more of a misunderstanding of what we were talking about, and me trying to make the point that celebrating that is totally inappropriate no matter where you are.
The presidential contest has gotten less tight over the last week or so, with Donald Trump opening up a double-digit lead over you in the latest polls. To what do you ascribe that? Many believe it's the Paris attacks and people not believing you have what it takes to be commander-in-chief.
Well, I think as time goes on, if people really begin to listen to what I say, not the volume at which I say it, I think they will recognize that it is exactly the right formula. And what we have to be thinking about is how do we stop this from occurring in this nation? And I've said for many months, we have to take the fight to them over there. And in order to do that, we have to cut off their money supplies, don't allow them to transfer money through the system, cut off their oil, take their revenue source. We have to utilize our special ops people along with the Kurds, and we really need to start working with the Iraqi forces, which we've kind of given up on because they ran away. But they ran away when ISIS attacked them because we didn't have the right kind of support for them. If we provide the right kind of support for them, I think that they will actually be a formidable fighting force. And those are the things that we do over there. But over here, we also must strengthen the TSA. You saw how many things got through there the other week. Mm-hmm. And the FBI, we got to give them much greater capacity to follow people 24/7. And, you know, I think that also we're very compassionate people. Some people say to be compassionate, you must take all of the Syrians in. The fact of the matter is we've spent more money on the Syrian refugees, I think, than any other country. And we shouldn't fall for the false narrative that there's only two options, that we take them over here or that we forget about them. We can provide safe zones for them over there. We can provide humanitarian services like we always do.
Got to ask you to clarify one other thing, because you got hit for an interview you gave to C-SPAN where you said that Thomas Jefferson helped craft the Constitution, which I know you know he did not, because your book says it correctly, which is he crafted the Declaration of Independence and not the Constitution. Now, to those who would say, how could you make such an elemental mistake, what say you?
I say Thomas Jefferson, even though he was an ambassador during the Constitutional Convention, was in communication. There are a lot of letters. He has a ton to say about it. So it's
but
pretty easy to find out.
But he did not craft the Constitution.
No, he didn't craft it, but he was certainly in communication with the people and had a lot of input and a lot to say about it. So no, he didn't craft it, of course not. You know, people spend too much time, you know, looking at little words and phrases without looking at the implications or the big picture. That's part of the problem. We've gotten into the minutia without looking at the big picture. And many of your colleagues, not you, and the media, spend all of their time combing through something and say, gotcha, rather than thinking about how do we correct the big problems that we're having in this nation today.
Understood. Well, I wanted to give you the chance to respond because you've been getting hit by that. But you know how it is, Doctor. You get hit a lot, and that's what we're here for, to either beat up on you as well or give you a chance to respond. Depends on the night. It's great to see you.
Thank you very much, Megyn.